What's up, guys? It's only Bigg Vic. We back with another video. Today I am on a road trip. I am on the way to Memphis, Tennessee. We're running an Amazon contract. I rode past Memphis, but I've never actually been to Memphis, Tennessee. I think I passed through Memphis, but I never actually stopped in Memphis. Right now we are in that electric thing put on a road trip. Right now we are charging, and I am using my free 2-year charge credits at GM Supercharge Station. And we are charging right now at, actually we're at 104 kilowatt, which is pretty decent. I started off at 125. This is their fast chargers, up to 350 kilowatts. Right now we're at about 67% state of charge. So we're still learning the network. I'm still learning this network. There were some other fast chargers, but I put in the route for this EVgo, so I'm not actually paying to charge. I'm using my free credits. That's what I got it for. All right, y'all. So we just juiced up, and we are back en route. Took advantage of our free charging with EVgo. I noticed that the EVgo stations were not detected on my my route planner within Google Maps. Like, it has Electrify America in there, it has the Tesla superchargers, and I do have the filter checked for EVgo stations, and it did not check. It didn't show me EVgo stations until I pulled up the EVgo app. So I don't know if that's a bug or what, or maybe I didn't do something right, but I for sure clicked the button to stop me at any EVgo's. I think it was going, the way my route planner set it up was, I guess it's trying to get me the furthest towards my destination with less stops. So when I pulled up the EVgo app is, I stopped early. I stopped way before it was telling me to stop. So I guess it kind of took the EVgo out of my trip route, so that I can use the most miles going. And then, you know, the EVgo would have made an extra stop for me. So it took that out of it. That's what I'm thinking. And I get it. It makes sense. The less stops you have to make during your route. So that's cool. But I wanted to take advantage of the free charging, so that's why I stopped at that EVgo station to get back up to like 90% state of charge. And I'm cool with that. All right, y'all, so we just stopped to charge up. We're at the OTM GM. We back getting that free charge again. We are charging at 148 kilowatts. We're at a fast charging station, 350 kilowatts. My favorite part is right here. So the thing about owning an EV is you just gotta carve out the time for your stops to charge up, depending on how far you're going, especially if you're doing any road tripping. It's not bad. I don't mind relaxing, taking a break, then getting back behind that wheel and doing what I gotta do. It's cool. So we're out here charging up. Found me another EVgo fast charging station. I was down to about 27%. We're getting 182 kilowatt hours right now, which is pretty fast. And that 178 looking real good. So the lower you are, the lower your state of charge is, the faster typically it will charge up. So as you reach about 80, they start slowing the power down. You know, you still can charge up depending on where you want your charge to stop at. Whether you do 80% or 100%, you can, definitely get charged right back up. It's pretty sweet. It's pretty much how we're looking at night. So we just finished charging her up. We good. And we are back in the wind. And we back just like that. Telling me to take a left, so I will.
After 1 mile, keep right.
Wanted to just give you guys like my thoughts of and my experience, what I experienced really taking my first real road trip in the EV, in the Cadillac Lyriq 600 E. And man, it was I had a great experience. Now something that bothered me before I purchased the EV, and this is probably like the thought that goes on in most people's minds, like if they're leaving a gas vehicle and going and about to convert over to an EV, your number one thought is going to be, how long is it going to take me to charge up when I get to these charging stations, or how much is it going to cost me? So because I have EV Go 2 years of free charging, my trip actually took me a little longer, because inside of my inside of my route planner through I didn't use Apple CarPlay. I actually used the navigation that comes, I want to say it's Google Maps, but it maps out my route. Now I think I might have had maybe 2 to 3 stops that were actually planned, that the car basically planned out for my route. But me, I'm a little different. I don't know. I personally just don't feel comfortable pulling up to a charging station at like 10%, with like 10% left. That's like, I think I still have to get used to doing that, because I'm like, what if I get to the charging station and it's like full of people, or all these things start running through my brain. But the car kind of tells you like, okay, number one, I have a few different apps. I have the EV Go app on my phone. I have PlugShare downloaded to my apps within the vehicle. I also use the route planner that's built in the vehicle with Google Maps. It actually shows me the charge stations that are nearby me, wherever I'm located at. So I basically, when I did do my stops, the stops were cool. Let me start there. When I did have to stop and charge the vehicle back up, it's always cool. I don't mind stopping. It actually slows you down a little bit, right? If you're rushing, if you pull over and you have to charge, depending on your depending on how low your battery is, how much charge you need to actually charge up, you may be there 20 minutes, you may be there 25 minutes. If you get there super low on the battery, you may be there 30-40 minutes. Just depends on how much you need to charge up. But I don't like to pull over when my battery is super low, although it's optimized to get you to where you're going, based on the route planner tells you, hey, you'll be at 16% state of charge when you do get to this charge station, right? It's an excellent route planner, but I think it was trying to stop me at Electrify America and also like a Tesla charge station along my route. But I was pulling over earlier using my other app, my EV Go app, and I would just see if there were charge stations nearby through my EV Go app that I could use to charge for free. Because if I pull over at a Tesla charge station, that charge is going to cost me. I have a membership with them. I also have a membership with Electrify America, which I know on average you're going to be paying 30 something cents per kilowatt hour, or 40 something cents depending on the time of the day. It kind of fluctuates, which is not super bad. I think I used the charge station, the Electrified America charge station, one time in Memphis, and I might have paid like $12 to get me back to like 85% state of charge. So that wasn't bad. Other than that, most of my trip, I didn't pay for any charging everywhere I stopped at, because I only used the EVgo charge stations. I was pulling over at the Pilot Flying J's. Where else did I pull over at? Basically, the Pilot Flying J's were most of the stops that I stopped at. I did pull in one charge station that I didn't even know was near my hotel. It was an EVgo station, but they were still actually building up that Pilot Flying J charge station. So I didn't actually need a charge. I just saw it there. I was like, oh, it's an EVgo station. Let me go check it out. And I was just going to top off my charge just because it was right around the corner from my hotel. But they hadn't activated that station yet. So they're still building out that network. So all in all, I think my trip the actual trip was 8 hours. Having to stop probably added like another hour and a half to my trip, but I stopped more than I needed to stop, just because when I got maybe 80% battery life, I was looking in my EVgo app, pulling over and charging back up, using the actual, free credits that I have for 2 years. So like I could have got there way faster, drove longer with the range that I had doing the route planner of the actual vehicle. But man, listen, it was a smooth ride. I enjoyed it. Road noise was definitely to a minimum. Like, I really didn't hear it. This is a quiet vehicle. Now, I will say this. I did recently, after I made that first video, I was hearing a little wind coming through the cracks of my front windshield, and it almost sounded like my passenger window was cracked, because I was hearing just a little noise. So I brought it back to Cadillac, and the tech rode with me, and he was like, yeah, that wind noise is a bit excessive. So they called up the glass company. They pulled my windshield out and actually had to reseal my windshield, and now the noise is gone. So, it's a brand new vehicle. I get it. Sometimes there's a couple of things that may, not be all the way official like it's supposed to be, coming from the factory when they do ship these things out. But other than that, the ride was great. I noticed, like, when I pull up to these charge stations, I was in Memphis. I pulled up to, I think it was Electrify America, and you always run into other people charging for sure. And there's always a conversation that happens when you're charging, or someone's waiting to get on the charger if the charge stations are full. But the conversations are always like, the conversations are always cool at the EV, because not everyone drives an EV, but when you do find other EV drivers, the conversation just basically happens naturally. So I ran into a couple that had I want to say the EQ, the Mercedes SUV. They had a 23 model out of Texas, and he was saying they drove theirs down to like 5% battery life, and I'm looking like, huh? 5%? Like, you guys was rolling on like 5%? I'm not that gutsy. I'm still fresh with this thing, and I'm not taking those type of chances in my EV. I'm sorry. I am not getting stuck nowhere where I'm down to the bare bones of needing a charge, and I'm scrambling to get to the next charge station. I'm just not doing it, because I heard, like, when you get that low, you got to start turning the air conditioner off. You gotta the radio needs to go off. All the excessive apps you may be using while en route needs to go off to preserve the battery life. So I don't want to get down to that low state of charge to where I have to worry about that stuff. Now, in terms of comfort, once again, this is probably one of the smoothest vehicles when it comes to a ride of just feeling the feeling of luxury, comfort, and sport. Now, I ain't gonna lie to you, I did hit that gas one good time. I did get it up to 100. I'm sorry. I did get it up to 100. I had to hit it one good time just to see what that 500 horsepower was about. And this is an all-wheel drive, 500 horsepower. When I tell you, once I hit that, this thing took off. I mean, it took off. I just had to test it one good time. I don't normally drive like that at all, but I did have to hit it one good time, and it did every bit of everything I needed to give it just to test it out. On the way back from the road trip, so it did tell me, like, okay, from where I charged up in Georgia, I want to say that I had about 200, maybe 80 miles, if that much. I don't know. It was somewhere around there, maybe 200 something miles. But by the time that was enough to get me back home. I think it was at maybe like 16%. That was fantastic because I was able to, put it back on the charger when I got home. Next morning, I'm back. I'm back fully charged again, no issues. But I think that's the only time where I actually drove it down, because I knew I was just going home and gonna put it back on the charger and charge back up. But it is, man, the ride was comfortable. I didn't mind the stops. Like, again, I didn't mind doing the stops because the stops actually give you, like, I don't know, it allows you to just, I guess, recalibrate your brain for a second, especially if you're just used to, you're on the go, you're pumping gas, where you're coming from the pumping gas world, and being able to pump gas, jump right back in the car and take right back off. So, most of the stops I did stop at were Pilot Flying J's, or if it was like Electrified America, there was always like a some type of shopping center if I needed to go in and, get anything. Most times when I do stop, if it's time to eat, I will go into a restaurant, eat while the vehicle is charging up. But it does allow you to, it does give you a moment to just, okay, take a break, check emails, watch whatever you watch. Me personally, I'm thinking of more content ideas, things of that nature. Just being this whole EV world definitely will slow you down a little bit, especially if you have to charge. Now, if you drive your vehicle local, you don't go too far from the house, then charging stations wouldn't even be an issue for you, because you don't really take your EV that far, or you don't do road trips. Like, having to charge and stop, that's mainly when you're doing road trips. If you keep your vehicle local, that's not something you have to worry about, especially if you have a charger at home. I notice most people that are even pulling up to charge stations, they're mostly traveling. They're coming from out of town, right? And most people have their chargers already set up at home to where they don't really have to charge up, that much when commuting. Let's just say if we were out on the town or whatever, and I just happened to be at the mall, I know I could get back home with the charge that I have, especially if I'm at about 280, which gets, I think, 270, 280. I think that's me being at about 80% battery life. I'm between 307, 314 at 100%. And I thought I seen it go up a little higher than that at one point. I thought I was at like 347 at 100% stated charge. I got to double check that again. But even my trip that I have planned to go to Connecticut this next month for Thanksgiving, I think I have a total of maybe 3 stops along the route, and it's putting like another hour and a half on my trip, you know, coming out of Charlotte, going up to Connecticut. And that's not bad, but I might have to stop a couple of times outside. I might have to stop a couple of times outside of the route planner, because, you know, I'm going to be looking for the EVgo stations while I'm out there doing, you know, while I'm out there doing my road trip. I probably will be looking for the EVgo stations. I don't mind stopping at Electrify America. Do have a membership with them. If things get thick, which they shouldn't, because the route planner is pretty accurate. Haven't had any issues with my route planner. Matter of fact, let me show you guys. So, like for example, I can click on here for my charge stations. This is going to give me like all the charge stations near me right now. As you can see, there's an EVgo not too far from me, another EVgo in Pineville, another EVgo in Taylor K, another EVgo charge station 30 minutes away, Tesla, Electrify America, Circle K. So it's giving me, like, you know, and as I scroll through the charge stations, as you can see, they all pop up on the map. They all pop up on the map as I go through them. You'll see them start showing them as I scroll through here. Shows you how many, you know, how many chargers are actually at that station. Like here in Antigua K, I know if I click on that, it tells me, like, you know, I'm 29 minutes away. How many super fast chargers, 350 kilowatt chargers, there's 2 there, fast. Even if one is occupied, it will let me know, like, hey, someone's using one at the moment. You can also schedule an appointment to let it know that you're on the way to actually charge a vehicle, and it will reserve. Some of these charge stations, you can reserve them before you get there, which I think is pretty cool. The road trip was great. Like I said, this has probably been the most comfortable ride that I've purchased, that I've experienced, especially in the EV world. This is my first EV, but it's been totally worth it. So I'm enjoying this EV experience so far. And now I'm just in the mindset, I know when I take a trip, it can't be like a situation where I'm just like in a rush. Like I'm super in a rush to get to where I'm going. This EV will slow your brain set, your mind down some. Because you know, like, all right, if I'm taking a trip, I know I got to stop here, to charge back up, you know. And some people don't mind pushing it. I noticed there's a lot of people that don't mind pushing. I was talking to one guy who also had a Lyriq. He said he got his down to like 2, maybe 1% right before he got home. And I'm like, what? 1%? I'm not taking those type of chances, y'all. Listen to me. I'm not taking those type of chances in my vehicle. Talking about I'm at 1% and about to charge. Like, that's something went very wrong if that happened with me. Like, I just couldn't find nothing. Like, I'm not. But like I said, my brain is programmed at this point to stop. If humanly possible, I can stop. Way before that, I am stopping. I'm not pushing it. I'm not in a rush to get anywhere at this point. I don't know if I showed y'all like the back of this thing, man. Just the amount of room that's in this vehicle. Like, there's so much room back here. Like, as you can see, we got plenty of room back here. Like the leg room, you know, I'm 5'5", but as you can see, we got plenty of room back here. Plenty of room. It is comfortable. Plenty of headroom. And this shade does close. If I hit the button, this will close this entire shade, which is amazing to me. So if I hit this button, the panoramic roof becomes no more. We close that whole thing up. As you can see, it's closing it up. So we can kill all that sun. This was one of those features. When I saw that, I said yes, because I know like the Teslas, a lot of the Teslas, I'm not sure which model. Shout out to the Tesla drivers. But I know with a lot of the Teslas, they have to buy a shade to actually cover up their panoramic roofs because they don't have like a button that closes. Maybe some models do, I'm not sure. But I know on this model, I'm able to hit that button and this shade comes across, and we can absolutely kill that sun if it gets too crazy up in here on those hot sunny days. But I personally don't mind the sun. You know that you know that melanin got to get hit. You know the sun love the melanin. but if you want to hit that and close your shade, you can. Like I said, this model, the Sport level 2, this one actually does come with, I do have a sunroof, so I can actually let my sunroof back. It goes back about that far, which I think is still incredible. The only thing I don't like the little hump right here that pops up when you do have that sunroof open. But I don't know if I really have that sunroof open like that. The sunroof is cool. I just don't like that little hump that pops up. But it is what it is. I'm glad I did have the panoramic sunroof. This is my first vehicle with the panoramic sunroof. I've always wanted a vehicle that had the panoramic sunroof, and hey, timing is everything. And I actually have it with the shade that the shade that comes with this thing. So if you get one of these Cadillac Lyriqs, just be prepared for the eyeballs that will be staring this vehicle down. Now, I was in Memphis, and I was eating at a restaurant, and I was on the inside, and I could see the vehicle because I kind of parked up in the front of the restaurant. And as I'm sitting in there was a handicap parking space beside me, another vehicle on the other side, and some people had just left the restaurant, and the person that was parked beside me had backed up. And I'm looking like, why are they stopped? Then the people that walked outside, they were actually looking at the back of the vehicle. So I'm thinking that maybe the car beside me might have bumped the vehicle or something. So I'm looking and I'm like, why are they standing around the vehicle like that? I'm thinking that they hit the vehicle, because they were really looking. Like, it was about 4 or 5 people standing around, and I'm like, what happened? So after they started dispersing a little bit, I kind of gradually walked out there just to look around the vehicle to make sure there weren't any dings or anything, that they didn't make a mistake. But they were just out there having an entire conversation around the vehicle and kind of really taking a good look at the vehicle. And I'm like, wow, okay. Well, I guess they were just having a conversation about the Lyriq. But yeah, it's definitely a head turner. It turned my head when I saw it for the first time. So it is one of those vehicles. I have to say, one of them vehicles, the body style, the way that they made this thing, it definitely grabbed my attention when I saw it. So I get what made them turn their heads and look and do kind of just crowd around the vehicle, because I had the same reaction when I first saw it for the first time, and I was like, what is that? What the heck is that vehicle right there? So yeah, it's definitely one of those. So if you get one, just be prepared for that. No one hit your car. Just be prepared to just be prepared to get the eyeballs on your vehicle. All right, if you're thinking about going the EV direction, most EVs, you have route planners built in them. You can download more route planners on your phone, depending on if you got Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Most of those, you can also download apps to your vehicle that also have other route planners that you can use as well in conjunction with whatever's built in your vehicle. So yeah, I love it, y'all. I love it. I know most people get nervous, get scared when you start talking about EVs, stopping, charging, you know, but it will definitely slow you down a little bit. Not, you know, when I say slow you down, it will make you slow down, take a second, breathe, that type of thing when you are, you know, stopping at these charging stations and, you know, just conversating when you're out there. Some pretty cool people out here with in this EV world. All right, it's homie Bigg Vic TV. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you want to see, you know, you want see anything else about the vehicle, drop it down below in the comment. Got any questions? Let me know down below. It's homie Bigg Vic TV. Always hustle, never stop growing. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's eat, baby.